a very long day yesterday from 7 in the morning to 10 p.m. The only time I wasn't either physically working on something or mentally working on something was the 3 times I got in my car to go drive somewhere and the roughly 20 minutes I spent taking a shower. I've been remodeling and reorganizing my home, so I was doing that for a few hours yesterday. I went to the gym. I am flying to Nashville next weekend for 3 pretty big debates. So I've been reading books. I've been writing thousands and thousands of words. I've been watching videos to get some background information. I had music lessons yesterday evening, and then I had a scheduled debate that went on for 2 hours last night as well. For those about 30 minutes or so that I was expecting for some downtime, I saw that Gutsit Gibbon was interviewing Will Duffy or talking to him about creationism and evolution. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to check this out while I get ready. And then this happened.
Now, knowing I was going to be doing this with Erica, I watched the evolution debate between Donnie and Matt versus Planet Peterson and PhD Tony.
I got mentioned. For me, that's pretty cool. That's kind of a big deal.
Now, Planet Peterson, I saw you talking smack in the comments before we went live tonight, and I'm not going to throw you under the bus here, but I did email you after that debate, and I'm still waiting for a response. I'll leave it up to you if you want to show your audience my email. I'd love it if you would, but I at least would love a response. Now, a couple people worth mentioning who immediately turned on me were YouTubers Planet Peterson and PhD Tony. Now, those two recently debated the topic of evolution on the Modern Day Debate YouTube channel against Donnie and Matt from the Standing for Truth YouTube channel.
So as I'm getting ready, my very long day all of a sudden becomes worse because now I'm like, great. Now I have to deal with whatever this is because I don't know what he's talking about. So right as I heard that, I grabbed my phone because I have my 3 Gmail accounts are all on my phone. And I search Duffy, Will Duffy. It turns up no results. I go into the spam folders. It turns up no results either. I didn't know this. And I didn't have time to look into this. But I think for his email, it's just the final experiment 2024 at gmail.com or something like that. He might not even have his name tied to it, but I searched for the email and I didn't see anything. I have this other email address. It's like my author's email. It's this program called Zoho, which I've only ever got like a dozen emails total from it, and I don't send out emails with it. So I almost never look at it, but I went there and I searched his name and nothing came up either. So I wanted to address this. So I sent a super chat to make sure that it got said and read. Unfortunately for me, there's character limits to super chats. So I had to spend $100 to get the to get enough words in there for me to actually say what I needed to say. So I said, hey, Duffy, I searched and I don't have it in any of my email accounts. I'm not calling you a liar because it would be monumentally stupid for Will to say this and it not to be true. So I absolutely did not think he was making this up. I asked him to produce a screenshot, and he did share his screen, and he showed the email. I wasn't able to see this until hours later because I had to go. And lo and behold, he emailed me. I did get it. It went to my author's email that I almost never check, and it was in the trash can. I apologize. I don't know how I screwed that up. I have absolutely no memory of it. I've only gotten a very small number of emails on this account. I remember all of them. Have no memory of this. I must have somehow just sent it to the trash can without actually clicking on it. The one thing about this email thing is I don't like it. It's very goofy. Sometimes it shows a name associated with the account. Sometimes it doesn't. It just shows the email address. And the only other thing it displays is the subject of the email. It doesn't give you a message preview at all. And I don't have an app for this on my phone. I don't know how many of you that are going to see this have this experience. I legitimately, on average, reply to people's emails within, I'm not kidding, within a period of less than 5 minutes for the most part. Because they're on my phone, I swipe, I check them out, I read them. Usually it's a pretty quick response, and boom, I get back to you. This is my job. So, I'm not distracted by teaching or being at the office or anything like that. So this is all just kind of unfortunate. And the email, I can show it to you here. It was super basic. He just had a question. Hey, Peterson, you mentioned that they found raptors with feathers. Do you have a source for that? So I replied to Duffy last night and just sent him one example. Yeah, feathered theropods. We have all kinds of examples of that. Now to the whole talking smack thing. For some reason, my comments don't show up in the live chat replay. I assume that's because I sent them before the stream actually started, but I'm not really sure. But I only said 2 things, and the one thing I said was, I'm not going to remember it 100% exactly, but I said, I saw Duffy debate PhD Tony about young Earth creationism, and it was super cringe to see Duffy use or fall for, something to that effect, the exact same bad logic that flat earthers use when they do science denialism. That's what I said. And then somebody responded with something. I believe what they said was something about they're hopeful that Duffy can basically kind of be turned on the issue, something like that. And I said, I'm not so sure about that because Duffy believes that truth comes out of Scripture. So whatever disagrees with Scripture is wrong. Science isn't the arbiter of truth. Now, being on the receiving end of those comments, I guess it sounds hostile. I have 2 videos talking about Duffy. They came out in one on April 7th, one on April 10th. And then I did do a live stream where I watched that debate he did with Tony as well. I have no idea if Duffy has seen those videos or not. He didn't mention them. I rewatched both of them last night, and in my head, I was like, I don't really remember attacking Duffy on any point. And no, that's really not what was going on. He made several claims. I think basically all of them were erroneous. I deal with them. In rewatching one of the videos, I realized that one of my responses was the way I said it was definitely totally wrong. So I did pin a comment correcting my error in the video. So I'm actually glad I rewatched it. But no, my feeling is basically that it's just kind of unfortunate that Duffy is falling for the same thing that flat earthers do. And I think it comes from the same place. You have these very strong identity affirming beliefs that are not scientific that you hold in the first place, which we all do that. The majority of our beliefs are not scientific, so they are not scientific beliefs. And quite a lot of those ideas are sort of immune, or at least heavily resistant to scientific data. This is not surprising. This is well known. Psychology studies that deal with political beliefs show the exact same thing. You can literally use real or fabricated data. It doesn't matter. People entrench themselves in their beliefs stronger after being confronted with data that proves their beliefs wrong. I don't have any personal problems with Will Duffy at all. This thing that he's doing with Erica, I actually really admire this. I haven't had the opportunity to watch very much of it, but from what I saw, Duffy is basically saying, look, my problem with flat earthers is they don't know anything, yet they have such a strong belief system. So I'm here to be taught about evolution by Erica. And, if somebody said, hey, Peterson, who would be a better person to teach evolution, you or Erica? I would. The only reason I would pick myself over Erica is maybe in some cases because she knows so much more than I do. I might be able to reach them closer to where they're at than her. But other than that, 10 times out of 9, I would recommend Erica. And man, they go through this thing and it like literally starts with, I mean, it goes all, like it's a history course. It doesn't begin with Darwin. It goes back to like ancient Greeks and Renaissance ideas, and it includes geology and all this kind of stuff. So it looks like it's extremely thorough. So Will, I don't know if you'll see this video or anything like that. I am not interested really in like debating you because I don't feel that I need to. I think what you're doing is you're doing it the right way. That's totally fine. If you want to have a conversation, I'll be happy to do that. Again, I have like no shade to throw Duffy's way, like at all. I don't think he's dishonest. I never thought he was a liar or anything like that. Hopefully, Duffy, if you're watching this, hopefully, basically you feel the same for me, I guess. Speaking of that, there's something I want to talk about here. I'm a science communicator. I'm a former science teacher. I don't know if some of my fans consider me to still be technically an educator, but whatever. But as a communicator, what's as important as getting the facts right is that we have very good and solid PR and that we do things the correct way. There is something that gets tossed around in our community that really drives me crazy, and it is when people just toss out the word liar. Are there people who we combat and debunk that lie? There absolutely are. A great example would be Kent Hovind. So Kent Hovind is a monumental moron, and I do genuinely think that Kent Hovind doesn't believe in evolution and does believe that the Earth is only a few thousand years old. So when he's wrong about things, that doesn't make him a liar, but he does definitely lie. He never does this when he's debating people because he knows he'll get walked on. But when he has conversations in friendly spaces or when it's just him streaming, he'll make claims like, oh, the sun is losing mass by fission all the time, which means the Earth can't be billions of years old because if the sun loses mass, that causes problems for Earth's orbit. Sounds convincing, but it's total bullshit. There is no way that Kent has not looked at the numbers on this. And if you look at the numbers on this, the sun loses about 5 million tons worth of mass every second, but the sun's mass is roughly 2 to the 30th power. So even after all these billions of years, the sun has lost like 0.1% of its mass. Losing 0.1% of your mass is not a problem. So he doesn't tell the whole story. He's lying. However, and I don't have like an example off the top of my head, but when we deal with creationists or, whoever it is, when they make arguments that are just obviously from their own incredulity or their own misunderstanding of how something works, we have to stop calling that lying. When I say you're lying, what I'm saying is you are not just wrong, but you are bad. And by doing that, what we are saying is if you are not in lockstep with the science, you're not just factually wrong, you're morally wrong. That's what they do. We shouldn't be like them. But also, there's this tremendous problem about crying wolf. Whenever you say that somebody's lying, if they can demonstrate that they're not lying, even if it's like if they say something and you disagree with it, but you claim that they're a liar, they don't even have to take the L on what they said being wrong. They can take the W because you're insinuating something about them. I just want us to assume incompetence over malevolence. And look, incompetence isn't good. I mean, it's hardly even the benefit of the doubt. So really, what are you losing by calling them incompetent rather than a liar anyways? So anyways, that's my spiel. This whole thing is fairly melodramatic. Maybe that'll be it. Maybe some sort of collab is in the future. I guess we'll see. Thanks for watching.